welcome to State of Prime. And for all my fellow primers tuning in, welcome back. And for anyone new that's tuning in, welcome to State of Prime. Your source for keeping you mentally, physically, and spiritually primed for any state. Now, without further ado, we're going to get into the video. But before we do, if you're someone who's new to the channel and you get any value, make sure to like so that we can continue to spread this frequency with others. Very important. And down below, comment how you stay primed for any state so that we can continue to converse and build upon that. Anxiety. Okay, guys. Anxiety. Do you have anxiety? You know what's been learned about anxiety is that it stems from the mind. I've experienced people who come and they need a supplement, something physical, to address something mental, and that's not how it works. If you want to address the mind, you must address the mind. Taking a supplement to get the mind into the body might work temporarily, but it won't work. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is essentially being in the future, thinking, most likely impulsively and habitually and unconsciously. It's like thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. But see, here's a foundational aspect, is that when you're in the mind, unconsciously, you're not in the present moment. So when you see me just now with the compost, right, one of the things I like to do is, our family, we created a compost, and just coming out here and moving the compost, I have to get in tune with the body. And see, what happens is when you're tuned in to the body, you shouldn't be having any thoughts. Aware of thoughts, but you're not identifying with them. When you identify with these thoughts, then that leads to what you would call the ego, which is essentially identifying with thought forms and things of the past or the future. You're not present. So with anxiety, we're going to dive into this. How can you address your anxiety? It's not in a supplement. Remember, it stems from the mind, so we must address the mind. And in order to do that, we're going to outline some practices. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, so when I first started learning how to meditate, it was the concept eluded me, and only from experience and doing it did that threshold close. And so I don't want to talk about meditation as a modality for you to use. Instead, I want to show you. So outlined, if you look at the video and if you need to, go back. When you meditate, meditation is not sitting, well, it is, but it's not just sitting and tuning it. You know, that's like, there's different levels, right? And so mindfulness is the first aspect that I feel I wish, well, yeah, I would have learned before fully diving into this. But I'm fully thankful for everything that has transpired. But what I want to convey to you to assist you in dealing with that anxiety, see, with mindfulness, in order to be mindful, you have to be present. So when you build your mindfulness, then you can transition into meditation, which is going within deep states of reflection and introspection, as well as awareness. But again, in order to start that, we must start with mindfulness. And so when I was reading, it was a lot of mental stimulation. I mentally grasped these concepts, but doing it was a different thing. So you don't really need a book unless it's an applicational book. And so what is going to assist you, go back to that outline where you see that I'm meditating, but I'm also being mindful. So you can use your breath. Breath is one thing. And now here's a foundational thing that you can, and we're not going to get into too much because we're going to be diving into more of this mental modality as we move forward. Right now, we're going to keep it simple to help you address your anxiety right now. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, take a moment to sit in isolation, right? Preferably, let's say under a tree where there's minimal stimulation, people talking, you know, cars driving by, but you can be wherever. You definitely be wherever. So when you do it, this is a practice that has greatly helped me. So when you're breathing, you're meditating, right? Get into a stance and breathe and focus on the breath, right? Now, this is important. You're gonna have moments where mentally you start to just start thinking. All these habitual thought patterns of the past are going to come up. Now remember, this has to be addressed. You have to go through it. You can't go over, under, beside. You have to go through these thoughts with your awareness. And so as you're sitting there, this is what it's going to do. It's going to build your awareness that these thoughts are habitual. Don't fight it. Don't fight it, because what you resist will persist. Instead, allow it to be. Watch it. Look at it as if you're, just really interested. Like, wow, just look at it. Don't engage in the mental dialogue. Instead, watch it with unbiased awareness. Unbiased. Don't, oh damn, I keep thinking. No, because now you're getting right back into the dialogue. As you build that space between mental or thoughts, as you build that space between thoughts and awareness, you'll start to see that you're not your thoughts. And then you'll start to go into a whole new realm of awareness. But this is a process, and it cannot be rushed. From personally meditating every day, and not every day because it's been on and off for about a good 4 to 5 years, but as of this past 1 to 2 years, it's been pretty consistent. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, minimum. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's never less. It's a minimum. And the reason being is you have to set this up to where you're doing this daily. Start with 30 seconds, and I promise you, those 30 seconds are going to become so mindful, so powerful, that it's going to magnify every aspect of your life. Everything that we do is centered around how mindful we are. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. That's why you hear stories about people who can literally shovel poop but be so happy because they're mindful, they're present, they're not in the past about, what they won't be able to do, and they're not in the they're not in the future about what they won't be able to do, and they're not in the past about what's been missed or whatever. The present. And the way to build that presence is by being mindful. So excuse that little rant. That just bubbled up out of me. I had to share that with you guys. As we move forward, this is going to be something that we solidify as a unit. And feel free to comment below any ideas that come to mind, any hurdles that you're experiencing, so that we can address it as a unit, as one. So with that, let's get to the next. Guys, just some final thoughts for you to take away about anxiety. Anxiety is something that I'm sure a lot of us face. There's an uncertain future. There's just a lot of things that's happening. But you know what? Is anything certain? Is me riding this bike, is it certain that I won't fall? Is it certain that this tree won't topple over? Here's the point. There's not certainty for anything. The only thing that's certain is what is. And that's the only thing that we can respond to in this moment, not what could be. If we try to respond to what could be, there's no actualization. It's not present, so it can't be responded to. And so this correlates with anxiety. Look to the root of anxiety and why it's there, and how you can address the root of why anxiety is manifested, not the symptoms. And as you progress, I'm positive that you're going to be able to illuminate yourself from within, and the conditions that brought up anxiety will naturally dissipate as you build in your awareness. Okay guys, and if you got any value from this video, make sure to like and subscribe so that we can continue to spread this frequency with people who need to hear it. And if you're new to the channel, as I said earlier, and you're looking for somewhere, a source, something to mentally, physically, and spiritually keep you primed for any state, then subscribe below, because this is the source for that. We are growing together. This is not just me talking to you because you are me and I is you. See, these words are fragmented and they fragment us. It's like two fingers that's on one hand. There's so much separation. The analytical aspect of ourselves, our thinking, it's pervaded us. It's the mental aspect has, encased all of our potential. And so everything is going through this mental construct. And see, the more we step out of the box, we start to utilize thinking in the fashion that it was created for, which is to create as well as to understand. No longer will we be subject to, things like anxiety, which stems from thinking, because now we'll have the awareness to be present. And as we move forward, guys, these concepts, we're going to continue to piece them together so that you can put this into practice. State of prime is not just the mental, the physical, or the spiritual aspects. And what I mean by that, it's not just talking about it. It's not just like learning about it. No. It's doing it. Everything that I'm sharing with you, I'm going through myself. This is something that we're going through together. And I am very appreciative and thankful to be on this journey with you. And with that, guys, remember, till the next one, stay prime. And I'll talk to you in the next one.